I'm back. Hi guys, just a little cut in. I forgot to introduce myself. Not a great start. So this is LD Xtra. I'm your host, Tirus, Silent Pirate, Mark, whatever you'd like to call me, and welcome to the show. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 0 of the LOD Xtra. Now, what is episode 0? Basically, this is just going to be a quick little what is the episode's going to entail to differentiate Xtra from the main show, because I don't want to take anything away from the main show, and I don't really want to, do the same things, and inevitably there will be things that are done quite similar between, Xtra and LOD, to keep things in-house, so what LOD Xtra is going to be will be a shorter version of the main show in regards to length. Hopefully, unless I get something that really pushes my buttons, and then you'll have one of my long rants. Yeah, miss those. Basically, we'll pick something and we'll be able to look at it more in depth than the guys can afford to on the main show. And my dog Max is looking out the window. Down. Get down. Now, for all you guys listening, there will be a video version of the show. The show will be obviously recorded as a video, and then will be, when it's uploaded, you'll have the option of obviously listening to it as an audio podcast or watching it. Now, the guys have done this a couple of times with Spotify, which I kind of like the idea of, so I just decided, Xtra will be all video. Hopefully, like I said, not as long as the main show's episodes can be, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, in my eyes, I wanted the Xtra show to be shorter episodes because it's just me. It's just one guy. Unless it's something really, really interesting, you're not going to sit and listen to one guy for over an hour. Sorry, it's not happening. And I'm saying that about my own show. So, pick a subject, look at it more in depth than the guys can afford to. Like, obviously, the guys have a certain amount of time to talk about all their different things, all the different segments and stuff like that. And, sometimes they can't give something the dissection that you would maybe want. And Xtra is obviously, in my eyes, going to be a good place for that. For example, Arc Survival Ascended recently came out. Now, Arc 2's been delayed for a severe period of time. It was supposed to come out this year, but I think now it's not saying 2024. I think it's saying 2025. And I personally think that's had sort of a knock-on effect on Ascended. Either that or Ascended was a much bigger thing than they thought it was going to be. Because when Ascended came out, it was supposed to have the island map and the Scorched Earth map, from the beginning, but Scorched Earth isn't available. And they released a roadmap. For anyone watching on the video, it should be in the corner now. Basically, I'm not going to go into detail because there's a lot of numbers here and a lot of dates in the future. Some of the maps won't be out until at least 2025, and that's if they don't get delayed again. So I'm assuming Arc 2 won't be out before all these maps are out. I think Wildcard or the publisher will want to obviously get as much money out of Ascended as possible, and then before Arc 2 takes over, which if you're one of the people that looks into like what a publisher does with the money and stuff like that, and you feel that Arc Ascended is something that you do not want to put money into, that's totally understandable. But I don't look that far. You know, I showed the trailer to my sons, and both of them went, "We want it." So I looked at the price, £40 for something as big as Arc, and it was only £40, and the maps are going to be added over time. Absolutely no-brainer. I'm actually going to buy it a second time because I have 4 children. There's 3 Xboxes and a PS5 in my house. So I can only game share 1 game between 2 Xboxes. So my youngest son is autistic, and he absolutely is just hyper fixating on Arc right now, and it is brilliant. He is so calm. Like, a lot of people have their little quirks and tics, and when I don't mean like physical visual tics, I mean like little things that sort of annoy them or trigger them to get frustrated or stuff like that. And right now, since he started playing Arc and focusing on it, he hasn't really had any of his little miscommunication style meltdowns, and obviously misbehaving and getting yapped at a little bit. Yeah, that still happens. That's just Harrison. But basically, since Christmas, my house has basically just been an Arc house. Every time I look near my TV, it's Arc. My son has a smaller TV sitting beside my big TV in the living room so he can do his own thing and have his own little personal space and private time and stuff. And it's just Arc. Now, I bought a keyboard and mouse because my wife and I are trying to save up and get a PC the right way. Not, credit and paying it off and stuff like that. The way things are at the minute, was prices going up and down, interest rates going all over the job, and my work being weird at the minute. We didn't want to risk taking on something like that, so we're obviously saving up. So to get used to mouse and keyboard again, I bought her a keyboard and mouse at Christmas as a present because she loves The Sims. And I've actually heard this from a few people, but they don't like controlling The Sims with a controller. But the way they made The Sims 4, it supports keyboard and mouse on the consoles. So I already had Sims 4 on the Xbox. I bought it for her when it came out. That's how we found out she didn't like the controlling it with the controller. So fast forward to now, she actually tried it yesterday, and everyone's been at The Sims. All the older ones anyway. Harson's still hyper focused on Arc. My older children like, "Can I play The Sims?" "You can download it on your Xbox. Why do you need mine?" "Oh, the keyboard's downstairs." So everyone's looking at the keyboard and mouse. My wife even sat and played, I don't know, from about 12 o'clock to about 6:30 on Saturday there. As of recording, this is Sunday. So yesterday she played for a good long period, and she kept saying sorry or thank you to me because when I'm sitting playing a game, I'm pestered. You know what I mean? "Mark, help me with this. Oh, can you do this? Have you done this yet?" The usual household stuff. Whereas I just left her alone. I was happy to see her sitting, relaxing and playing a game, unwinding, de-stressing, stuff like that. Like, stuff as a... No, I don't really like the label hardcore gamer, but somebody that games frequently and often. Like, I take that for granted at times. My wife does not play that frequently and often, and finding a game that takes that kind of attention for her is quite rare. So now that she can actually play The Sims and control it the way she likes, then yeah, that's a good thing. I'm really happy about that. I don't care if I can't touch my Xbox while she's playing it. But that's just it. When we eventually get a PC, then obviously it has to be a gaming grade one, because obviously she'll want to play The Sims. They are working on another Sims game, they did announce that, but it's going to work. It's going to be free to play and exist alongside Sims 4. So from the looks of it, Sims 5, if it's even called that, will be free to play. Don't know how they're going to monetize that. Probably monetize it up your rear end. But Sims 4 will just continue with all the overpriced DLC. And like, she's a big Sims fan, and even she said what you're paying and what you're getting's stupid. But that's the age-old argument of microtransactions and what the minority will pay as opposed to the majority, and the silent majority usually just goes, I saw it, and pays it, and that's why that stuff stays. That's, in short, a long argument. But there are alternatives to Sims. I think there are at least two Sim-like games, and I don't really want to say the names in case I get them wrong. One in particular I know Tom is interested in as well. It was supposed to be out before Christmas, but I think it's been delayed. And when it comes out, it'll be in early access. Me, on the other hand, there are some games which I want to play too, which come out on PC that have not come out on console, maybe won't. And some RTSs. Now, like, when I gamed on PC back in the day when I built them, when you could afford to build them, I played stuff like Star Trek Armada 2, Star Wars, I think it's Galaxies. I loved RTS games. That's just mainly what I played. Some of the really good ones, like some of the classic ones, like StarCraft 2 and stuff like that, like, I can't get them on console, so I can't play them. Like, I think I played a trial of StarCraft 2 or something like that. I know I played it for a short period of time, but obviously never completed it, stuff like that. But DayZ, when DayZ first came out, when it was a mod, I played that on Arma. There's lots of stuff. There's stuff I both miss and I've never obviously got to play. Obviously, it would be fun to join the guys for a few games of Lethal Company, but I don't know if my laptop will handle it, so buying the game and trying it is kind of out of the question at the minute. I can't even handle Sims 3 at the minute. For some reason, an hour into the Sims 3 or practically any other game, and the laptop just shuts itself off or freezes. One or the other. I think it's a heating issue, but even if I did open the laptop up, I don't have new thermal paste or pads or stuff like that to put into it yet, and that also would, if that is even the problem, if it's an overheating issue or not, it could be some BIOS related, it could be just part of the laptop starting to die, I don't know. But it's one of those things that when you open it, there's no going back. And I would rather have all the stuff to have a look at it. I want to get another RAM chip for it. There's 2 slots inside it and there's only 1 occupied, so we get another RAM chip, get the hard drive changed to an SSD, breathe some life into it for a little while we see it for the computer. So we kind of got off on a little bit of a tangent there, which is probably the point of the show, going into a bit of more detail and stuff like that, and just talking. So the plan is pick something which we'll make it public before recording, so that if, like, say for example, a question needs asked, would you pay such and such for, just for an example, I'm not saying this is going to be epic. Say for example, we want to talk about the price of games as opposed to DLC and stuff like that. I would ask Tom to post the question on the LOD X account as a poll, and then obviously based on the answers, that's what we would use during the show as part of the discussion. Like, oh, people voted for this, people voted for that, blah 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 blah. We would do stuff like that, and obviously once Xtra has had a few episodes under its belt, and I can get the consistency and frequency down to where I like it, then we can look at other things, expanding the show, maybe making the show a little longer, having other things, and as often as I possibly can, obviously having a guest. But obviously that's not essential. That's not obviously, making or breaking the show. So thank you very much for being patient with me in particular. I know that we started the LOD, BG4G, and stuff like that together. Respawn Gaming Podcast with Tom back in the day. Like, I went out of my way to try and start something and to create something, and from one thing to the other, I kept letting everyone down, in my opinion. You, the listeners, the guys on the team, guys that used to be on the team, stuff like that, like there was always something just ripping me away. Be it money, be it time, be it just not getting near the show, not getting near the creativeness, the creativity that I want to get at. And yeah, it's hard for me. I'll just be perfectly frank about that. But obviously after all that health scare stuff for the last 2 years has now been put to bed, I know what's wrong with me. I am waiting for a letter to go and get the operation. It's just to get my gallbladder out. Yeah, all that 2 years to find out you've got really bad gallstones and your gallbladder out. Yeah, 2 years of that. Okay. So obviously now the pains have almost stopped completely, because now that I know what it is, I can eat appropriately, right? I can avoid stuff that sets it off. High fat foods, simple carbohydrates. So yeah, no sugar in my coffee. Having to go from normal Monster to sugar-free Monster, and just conscious choices. Now, nobody's ever yapped at me or complained to me about obviously my absence or my in and out behaviour when it comes to the show, and there has been times where my own anxiety has made me see or think things that just aren't there, and sometimes that makes me behave weird. Like, if you suffer from anxiety and stuff like that, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly the sort of thing I'm talking about. Will LOD Xtra be weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly? I say right now, I can't say for sure. I want weekly. I think weekly would be fantastic. Fortnightly is obviously could happen if something comes up, or during the summer if we can't, or more accurately me, if I can't come up with something to make an episode out of. I'm not just going to make an episode for nothing. I'm not going to expect you to listen to me for 30 minutes or more about b-ball. And yeah, I don't want to make an episode on nothing. So if obviously during the summer months when it's quite slow and there's not a lot of news and stuff, obviously then we're not going to make an episode. But if an episode ever is not happening, I will put it on X, Twitter, wherever you like to say. I will put it up that there won't be one this week. I won't let anyone get used to listening to the show on a weekly basis and then get let down. So anytime there's not going to be a show, I will always just say, look, it's not going to be a show this week. Either I just couldn't come up with something to talk about, or something's come up, work, family, whatever. I'll always be transparent, and I just want to set sort of like a ground level basis of what to expect from Xtra, what you're going to get from Xtra, and how frequently you're going to get it. And the main thing for me is I want to keep Xtra's quality as close to the main show as possible. I want people to hear the main show, know it's LOD. I want people to hear Xtra and know it's LOD as well. So with your help and your support, obviously, we can do this. On a side note, if you're watching the video part of this and you know my eyes are like off center, the camera is not like up top or dead center, it's off to the right. So I'm looking at my face while I'm talking to you, which is kind of creepy. Whereas I should be looking at the light. I need to get into that habit. So bear with me, I'll maybe take an episode or two for me to get used to it, but so this has been episode 0 of LOD Xtra. It's a little off the cuff, but I hope it sort of sets the basis for you as to what to expect in the future. Now, every episode will be scripted, so unless it's something I'm really passionate about, I shouldn't go off on long, big rants. Everything will be edited by me. It'll be obviously uploaded by me, but will still be controlled by, I'm not sure if it's Paul or Tom or Hayden that decides when stuff comes out, but it'll be entirely up to the guys when stuff comes out. I don't want it to come out the same day as the main show, because I don't want Xtra to ever be competing for people to listen, and I don't want to annoy people by having 2 shows out in the same day. Or, you know, if the main show comes out on a Monday or a Tuesday, I would rather Xtra come out a couple of days later. You know what I mean? That's just me. That's something that we will have to talk about and work out in the background. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this, and I hope to see you for episode 1 of LOD Xtra. I have been your host. Oh my god, 22 minutes in, I haven't even introduced myself. I am your host. I am Mark, also known as Tirus. I was the co-founder of Respawn Gaming with myself and Tom Wild. I don't know what else to say. I'm just shocked I didn't do this at the start. Oh, crap. I'll maybe edit in a little. And crap. That's alright. I've already screwed it up at the end. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you in the next episode.